What's up, guys? Welcome back to Simply Minis. We got my brand new 2023 CRF110 here. I won in a raffle at round 1 at Grovertown. 25 bucks for a raffle ticket won me this thing, so that's pretty cool. Brad from BBR was with us at the time, so he said, we'll hook you up with some goodies for it. And I went home, I had some pro tapers in the garage, tossed those on, and he said no. He said, we're gonna send you a brand new Carson Brown handlebar kit. So shout out to the guys over at BBR for sending that over. We're gonna get that tossed on and show you how to set these things up. So with that said, let's grab some tools and get to work.
All right, guys, so here's a quick look at what comes in the box when you buy this kit from BBR. So let's open her up, Johnny. So what do we got here?
We have a brake cable.
So you don't have to worry about trying to stretch your stock brake cable.
Extended throttle cable.
Don't have to stretch that either.
Comes with a full-size throttle tube. Anyone that's bought a brand new CRF110 knows that they come with a smaller throttle tube for a child. So they make these to let you get a full grip on that thing.
To upgrade that size there. But we're not gonna actually use those because he has Odie's on here already. So we're gonna use those because that's what Johnny prefers. But it does come with grips though.
So it comes with the grips, the tube, cables. It comes with a little shorty brake lever for you. Give it your stock lever that's 8 feet long. And then the bars themselves.
Those are nice. It's got a unique bar pad on it, which I really liked. It's something different. It's cool. I mean, it'd be nice if you bash your face off this. That'll help you out a little bit.
Like kissing a pillow.
So, all right, we're gonna get this tossed on the bike. We just wanted to give you a look at what comes in the kit. You also get a couple of Carson stickers here. We got the old Bibber sticker. Oh, that one's cool.
That's pretty sweet.
Sick. All right.
Thanks again to the guys over at BBR. All right, so here we are dismantling the handlebar setup that I've got on here now. Start by pulling off the grip. The nice thing about these Odie's is that you can just kind of reuse them throughout your different bar setups if you decide to change them. All right. Loosen this stuff up here. So this bike was my first time ever dealing with this dual throttle cable setup. So that was pretty interesting to figure out all on my own for the first time. It's kind of a puzzle to get it back together. First time was pretty interesting because it came apart. This piece fell out, the cables went every which way. I said, how the heck do I get it back together? So, got that off. All right, we're gonna pop the bars off. We've got a 10mm bolts here. Crack those loose. Honda was nice enough to provide us with these awesome reusable zip ties here for the start and kill switch wires. Pretty nifty. So, that all off. We'll slide this stuff off. Deal with that again later. To get these throttle cables out, you'll need a 10mm wrench I've already cracked this one loose. Spin these all the way out, take the cables out. There's no real way to mix these up because the threads on these two different cables are different. One's a fine thread, the other's more of a coarse thread. This one here is actually your return cable, the one with the coarse thread. There's no real adjustment on that. You just put it all the way in, snug it down, when you put it back together and you're good. So now we will feed the cable. First I'll crack the number plate loose, that would help. 8mm here on the number plate. There's 2 of these bolts. Crack the plastic loose. You got one 8mm up on the top on the gas tank. So we have a little push pin that holds the fender shroud or the tank shroud. Pop that. Pretty simple how those work. You don't really have to take it all the way off, just kind of pop it back. Gives you a little more room to work with in here. You have 2 Phillips heads that hold the cover for your throttle body. Make sure you have a Phillips bit that fits these screws because they do strip out very easily. Pop this cover off. You'll have 2 10mm nuts on these cables here for your throttle body. Break those loose. Back them all the way off. There's no adjustment or anything that you need to worry about with these. They go in there and they sit exactly the way you put them in. So you work these out. And then you'll pull the cable gently from the top down. So you just kind of work it through. It's a tight squeeze in there, but it'll fit. Voila. Throttle cable's out. Fun part's getting the new one in. Alright, so we'll get these plastics off. Start from here. Got our push pin out, got our bolt up here out. When you come down here by the seat, I'll show you when I get it all the way off. But there's 2 tabs on the back of the plastics that just kind of push into the frame, do a couple grommets. And we got an 8mm back here. We'll take everything off. So here's your 2 pins on the back of the plastics. They just pop into these grommets here in the frame. So don't be afraid when you go to take your plastics off and they're not moving. You feel like you have all the bolts out and everything. It's just probably those 2 little tabs there. So we've already got our cable out of the throttle body. We'll pull the coil out. It'll just give us a good view of where we're routing the cable. These are 2 10s here. Just kind of wiggle that out of the way. I've got another 10 right here for the airbox. We already took these front 2 out. to make life a little bit easier getting this cable through. Pop that out.
Now you don't have to do all this, but it definitely makes the struggle of getting the grommet on the end of the cable here, or well, the sheathing, whatever you want to call it, the rubber sheathing. That part kind of makes it hang up in there. The boot, there you go. Yeah. It makes it hang up in there. So if you loosen the airbox and you take the coil out of the way, it makes it 10 times easier.
Yes, much easier. Yeah, you don't have to take the airbox completely out.
And there's like a little bracket in here that it fits through. If you're doing this, you'll see it.
All right, we're through. So you'll want to have your return cable in this front bracket spot here. Well, first you want to slide your nuts out of there. These just sit in here. The tabs kind of line it up. Get your nut back on.
There's no adjustment, those just tighten down.
Yep. These just tighten down. Wherever they're snug is where they'll sit. Get back in there. And kind of pull it from the top end there to get it taut.
And then they'll
pull
pull
your
your
slack
slack out, yeah.
And same thing with your pull cable. Get the nut off of there. Get it seated down in the bracket. Hand tight, just get it in there for now. Same thing, just like the other cable. Get it set down, just go back up to the top. Pull your slack out. Should be all good there.
It's a close-up view so you guys can see. Obviously the return cable comes and goes into this slot. The pull cable comes down into this slot. These are just tightened down in here. This is supposed
those are just hand tight.
Yeah. So
we'll go back in with the 10 mil, snug them down. We'll start to kind of reassemble the airbox here. We'll put our coil back on. All right, so we got our cables routed in there. This all snugged up. Put a cover back over the throttle body. Okay, so we got everything snugged back down. Toss the plastic back on real quick. All right, so here's kind of like a little side-by-side comparison of the BBR bars versus the Pro Taper 50 bars. There's a lot more room here on these bars for your controls and stuff. I noticed with the Pro Tapers when I put them on, the brake lever was like just starting to bite into the corner here on the bars, whereas I feel like on these bars I'll have a bit more room to fit everything nice and straight. I remember seeing at one point in a BBR video, they mentioned that they changed the width of this section of the bars to accommodate for a little more leg room. I believe that also gave them the option to make these longer to give you room for your controls. Height is about the same, I would say, but I think overall I'm gonna be pretty happy with these bars. They definitely look sweet. All right, so to start here, we'll slide on the kill switch just to make sure that's on there. The brake lever and the throttle will get mounted up in a minute. But we'll start by tightening down these clamps here. Now you'll notice with the Honda, some other manufacturers might do this, some have arrows I think, but Honda, they put a little dot. Not sure if you can see that there. put a little dot here on the clamp. That lets you know it faces forward. Now ideally, you should have your bars in line with your forks. It kind of provides like the best handling overall. Some guys maybe like to roll them back a little bit more. One thing you don't really want to do is to roll them forward. It ends up making the front end feel really washy on you, and the handling just really isn't that great. So I always just try to get the bars straight in line with the forks. Now we will get the throttle back reassembled here, and this is the fun part. To start with, we'll just get the cables threaded into the housing here, into their respective housings. Now if you remember, there's one that's coarse threaded, there's a smaller diameter, the other one's fine thread. The fine threaded one will be your actual throttle cable. The smaller one with the coarse thread is just your return. So the coarse threaded return cable, you just snug that up against the housing here. And while we're getting this all set up, I'll have the throttle cable all the way in as well. And we'll readjust that later. Now we will slide the tube on. And here's where the fun really starts. So you'll want to get the cable back in your plastic piece here and set into the housing. There's a little groove that it kind of sits in there. You'll feel it when it pops in. Alright, so that one's in. We will get that cable in there. So that will set with that. Go ahead and pop your other cable in. Should fit back nicely together. Get your screws back in so it doesn't fall apart on you. Alright, now I got this all back in one piece, I'm going to get my throttle set where I want it. So some people make the mistake of butting their throttle all the way up against the end of the bars, which is a big no-no, because it tends to sometimes hang up. You can see there it doesn't twist back nice and easy. So what I do is I'll butt it up and just back it off ever so slightly. Snug it down. Now it works nice and smooth. New lever from BBR set on the bars. Now this is a nice little shorty lever. Pretty much just gonna grab that with one finger, which front brake, you really don't need much more than that. Guess I'll toss my other grip on. I love the lock-ons for that reason. No glue, pop it on, you're good to go. We'll get our throttle slack set. Actually, it's not too bad with that cable all the way in. Usual rule of thumb is about a 1/4 inch. So I'll stick with that there. This thing's barely backed out. Snug that up. Snug up the return. Slide boot back over. we are in business as far as the throttle goes. Alright, so here we are replacing the front brake cable. You want to loosen this up. Some slack in there. Loosen this up. Pull the cable out. $10 here on the fork for this little bracket that holds the line snug, prevents it from rubbing against the wheel. You'll have to kind of spread that apart to slip the cable through. Just use a little flathead, open it up a little bit. You'll be able to bend it back pretty easily. Pop that off. Pull your spring down. Back this lower nut all the way off. Slide your cable out. Pull it down through the loop there. Take your spring off, you'll need to reuse that. Get rid of that cable. And we will go on with our new one. Alright, so here we go with the cable. Slide it down through the loop in the fork like that. Get your spring on there. Down into the brake arm. Pop that in. Get that back in the brake panel. Put the bottom nut back on. Don't want to tighten it just yet. Just get it loose. Now, feed the cable into the lever. Like so. You won't have this adjustment all the way in as well for now. You'll adjust out any slack later. This piece here, go back on your cable. Okay, so we'll come back down to the brake here. We'll tighten this up. So now we come back up to the lever and we'll set our slack. About an 1/8 to 1/4 inch of play in there. Should be all good to go. Slide the boot back over. One thing I forgot was these nifty reusable zip ties. Pop those on to hold your kill switch wires up and out of the way. I just gotta toss my number plate on. We are going to be all done here. Alright, we're all snugged up. Nice clean install. Everything looks good. Bars look pretty sweet. So thanks again to the guys over at BBR. Really appreciate it. Can't wait to get some more parts from you guys in the future. Throw on this thing. See you guys later. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. Comment what you think. We really appreciate it.